Just love? Do you want to talk about love for a bit? Love.
I was just listening to your last set with Alexi and
Ray.
that made me laugh. Oh, the shitting and blamed it on a dog story reminded me of the shitting at the funeral story from our last one.
It's a beautiful story. And I do have a shitting blaming it on the dog one in this one as well.
What?
Yeah, which is so odd that it's like a similar. I just saw that. Yeah, it's like a similar one. So that'll be nice for confession? You. It's definitely not the same confession, but it's a little bit more unbelievable, this one, than the last one was, which is wild. Are you recording on your end now?
Recording my end now, yes. When do you
amazing.
Think it's out?
In like a month from now. Does that? I'm trying to be about 4 weeks ahead. Is that good?
No, it's fine. That's good.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll also, so I can sync it up. If I say my name and you say your name, Sammy P.
Tom Ballard.
That was very good. You're right if I kick it off?
Sure thing.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Confessions of the Idiots. Everybody wants to confess, but not everyone wants to hear them. Today, I'm joined by a comedian, someone I'm a huge fan of. He's dancing as I do this incredible introduction. It is homosexual comedian Tom Ballard. You were dancing, Tom. Did you see in the Zoom thing today? Because, well, one, Reed Down was meant to be joining us on this episode of the podcast. And, you know, sometimes Brisbane times are different than Melbourne times, but it's actually synced up at the moment. So there's no excuse of I got the time wrong.
Don't try and provide excuses to Reed Down. Reed Down's doing Reed Down. She's probably waking up from a nap around about now because she took 4 bags of MDMA on Thursday. So
I didn't even know it was a bag of MDMA. See, that's how uncool I am in the drug world. I didn't even know it was a bag. I thought they were pills, maybe.
They're caps and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm saying she took an entire bag, and not like a little druggy bag. I'm talking like a Coles fucking value bag of MDMA.
Going down. Now she is going down.
Just stuck her little face right into that bag like a little trough, like a feed bag, like a horse with an MDMA feed bag. And she had a wonderful time, but she will need to sleep for 2 to 3 weeks after that.
She will hibernate for weeks after this.
Yeah.
But in the thing I did use your correct title. I used in the Zoom meeting. I did say homosexual Tom Ballard and bisexual Reed Down. But there is no bisexual.
As a homosexual first or as a comedian first?
I would say comedian first and homosexual second. Is that how you prefer it, or would you rather homosexual first? Are you a big homosexual? That's what I want to know.
When I'm sucking dick, I'm like, this is pretty funny. And when I'm on stage, I think, what a faggot. So
it changes day to day for you. What a great admission. We're like 2 minutes in, and that's been the introduction so far. It's actually going pretty well. Pretty well. Yeah. But, you know, we don't have bisexual representation on the podcast today. So if there is anything that you want to flag, if you want to kind of represent a bisexual vibe and a homosexual vibe, I'm more than happy for you to represent both parties on this podcast today.
Who are you fucking? Are you heterosexual?
I'm heterosexual.
Why did you introduce yourself as that?
Oh, heterosexuals. Well, I don't usually introduce myself on the podcast. I don't usually go, I'm joined by homosexual comedian Tom Ballard and myself, heterosexual host of the podcast, Sammy P. I don't usually introduce myself. Okay, that's fun. Do many podcast hosts introduce themselves? I'm talking Mark Maron. I'm talking Joe Rogues. Do they introduce themselves on the podcast?
Yeah. What up, fuckers? I guess he doesn't say Mark Maron, does he? It says, what up, what the fuckers, what the fuck fees, what the fuck fucks?
Should I have a new thing? Because this podcast is coming up to 4 years pretty soon of doing this podcast. And I have said the stupid tagline that I always get wrong, and listeners love to point out that I've never really made it the same twice. And usually it's very confusing and clunky. That's just how I talk. That's just me.
Everyone loves to confess, but not everyone
wants to hear them. Everyone wants to confess, but not everyone wants to hear them. Should I be changing
also,
that?
I'm heterosexual.
Also, I'm the end note. Also, I love girlies.
That's my confession.
Age-appropriate girlies. That's what I'll say. Yeah, I love girls. I love to fuck. I love to suck and fuck. That's my confession today. What should be my new tagline? Do you think I should change it after this long? Do you think, is it broken? Do I need to fix it? Can you polish a turd? Do I need to fix this yet again?
I think people love it. They
Yeah.
love familiarity. The key to broadcasting is familiarity. And
Mhm,
every
mhm.
time when people fire up the old podcast, they want to hear that same little sing-song catchphrase, and they know they're in for a good times of COTI.
COTI. That's right. Thank you for coming up with an acronym for it. I really do appreciate that. I salute you, sir, homosexual sir, and comedian Tom Ballard. How are you going with your podcast? Because you obviously you've said quite a few times that you find it very hard to sum up your podcast in in a short version of what the podcast is. Can you tell the listeners about both of your wonderful podcasts right now?
Well, I must say the Like I'm a 6-year-old one is very much on hibernation. It's very sporadically released. I haven't released one of those for weeks and weeks. We're in a federal election campaign at the time of recording. I'm doing a weekly show called Serious Danger with my friend Emerald Moon, bisexual.
Or bisexual Emerald Moon. Yeah. I don't know who they are unless you say who their sexuality.
I should clarify. Okay. That's good.
People like the fabulous Adam Richard, and I'm like, fabulous? I don't know if I know fabulous. Homosexual fabulous. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Helps. Yeah, so that's coming out every week, and we're going to try and get a few more bonus eps profiling Greens candidates. That's all about the Greens and Greens politics, because there's a fucking election on. Oh my God, Sam.
Are you feeling confident about the election? Are you feeling good about it? Because the state of the world.
He's got fucking COVID. He's getting owned every single day.
Yeah.
Can't remember basic figures. Getting booed at music festivals. Catching the novel coronavirus.
And it is a novel. Shit. It's still a novel coronavirus because of goddamn dictator Dan and the Howard government. Do you think the Howard government will be voted out this year? Because I'm like you. I love politics. I follow it. I do. The Howard government, I follow it really well. I think Howard's got to go. Because if he brings in the GST, my friend, I am out of here. That's all I'm saying right now.
He's been in for so long.
So long. What do like when you talk about it so much, because you do talk about politics, you do talk about the government. How do you get angry when you talk about it now? Do you feel that you have to get rid of that rage by talking about it? How do you talk about it and still have a bit of positivity about talking about it? And find the funny in it as well.
Yeah, well, it's easy to find comedy, but tinged in all the comedy is like fucking hell. We truly are fucked. I mean, the more you read into the detail of, say, Labor's climate policy.
Yeah.
And you're like, these people are happy for us to all die, or to all burn in an inferno, and for them not to be able to have human beings living on the planet. And these are the good guys, apparently.
Yeah.
Shit like that just drives you nuts. And I really, to me, that voting Greens is the only fucking possible option. But yes, if you get too sort of black-pilled, or you get too obsessed and read everything, it does depress you quite quickly and make you want to. And I'm not even involved in it. Like, I'm just talking about it, for fuck's sake. People who work in politics every single day, I just think they're not normal people. Their brains are wrong. Yeah,
but I mean, to be a politician, like, it's a totally different thing. I think it's a mindset of control and, authority. I mean, Howard's very much like that. Do you think who's, our current Prime Minister, do you think there is... I have a lot of international listeners that just have no idea who Howard or Missy Higgins are, and they're my only two references on the podcast, so they're fucked. Do you think for you, though, talking about it all the time, would there ever be a moment where you would want to get into politics, homosexual Tom Ballard?
No, not really. I mean, I've been involved in my local Greens campaign. I live in a very safe Labor seat, and it's I think it's be fair to say it's small potatoes. Okay, the Greens are in no chance of winning that particular seat. It's about getting together with people in your local community who share your values and planning how you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Collectively, we're putting in the meeting on a regular
together,
basis.
You're going to lose together.
Yeah, we're going to lose together.
Yeah.
Like, how do we want to lose? Which candidate do we want to choose to lose?
Yeah.
Where will we position posters so people can know the name of the candidate that will not win? This is the Greens strategy. It's grassroots democracy in action, and I highly recommend it. So that's just more like a whole lot of admin involved, and then a whole lot of looking at the state of the actual election and going, Jesus Christ, shoot me in the face. But there are glimmers of hope in seats like Griffith in Brisbane, near our bisexual friend Redown.
Oh, always on time Redown.
where Max Chandler Mather is this guy. He's like just coordinated this massive campaign, door knocking all over the place, thousands and thousands of conversations, just constantly out there campaigning for a better vision of the future, pointing out why Labor is shit and why Terry Butler as shadow environmental spokesperson doesn't have the goods. And there's a very good chance that he could actually win, and that would be a big victory for the party. That'll make me feel good.
Yeah.
If he doesn't win, then I probably will absolutely check out and go, that's it, everyone.
You're done. You're done. You'll just start doing slapstick comedy after that, do you think? Is that the next step for you? Silent comedy? Because I'm a big Chaplin fan.
One-liners would be good.
One-liners, yeah. That is
Maybe
fun.
some like Auntie Donna stuff. Like,
oh, yeah.
Just look at me. Everything's a drum. I've got tits. Look at my dick. That's fun. I
And
saw
you
the
just
Auntie
need-
Donna show the other week in Tasmania. It was a fucking delight.
Oh.
No one learnt anything.
No.
They weren't arguing any point of view. We had a great time.
And if anything goes for too long, it gets awkward, dubstep out. You know, that's always there. Auntie Donna. It's always the best way out. But I always thought, like, talking about it so much and everything and talking about the state of the world, because that is a lot of, your latest comedy special that, I came and watched live, you asked me not to come, but I did. And for me, like, you always do, I wouldn't say you're a political comedian, but you do have a great political awareness, and you're teaching a lot of people about, politics. You've certainly taught me a lot. I mean, I'm very politically aware. What do you think, like in terms of changing, how much of your comedy now is making a point, but also making sure that you're talking to the right people about what you're doing and trying to affect change?
I think my comedy can save the world, and that's why I've booked in a tour of young liberal conventions across the country.
Yep.
I will be going to liberal branch meetings.
Mm-hmm.
I will be telling them why they're cunts, why they're destroying the country, and why everything they believe and their entire ideological worldview is incorrect, and why they should change immediately.
Incredible.
Tickets are not selling well, but hopefully with the power of token, we will be able to comp a little bit. And if you could tweet it out, actually, that'd be really helpful.
Yes. I think that's great.
The stand-up's not changing anything, but
Mm-hmm.
if stand-up can make people who agree with you, who are in the same vibe as you, just like send a message of like, you're not crazy for thinking this, and the people in power are truly insane.
Yeah.
And there is got to be a better way to run a country than what we have at the moment.
Yeah.
If you could just like remind people of that and make them laugh at, the fact that Peter Dutton looks like a potato, like that can be just a brief relief.
Yeah.
The slog and the agony of life.
Also, second time you've mentioned potatoes on the podcast today. So thank you for that, because I'm sponsored by potatoes today. And also, I had Adam Bant on the podcast once, and
Really?
It was absolute thrill. Had him and Dave Lawson on, and I went into his office, and we bought coffee when we went in, and the first thing he said to me was, "Are they biodegradable?" And he's having a laugh and everything. He said, "We've actually got a buzzer that goes off if they're not." In the Greens office. Anyway, I mentioned Howard pretty quickly into the podcast, and the look of confusion, I think I really got him offside, and I had to really backstep on that one. But I think that's most of the podcasts I do now, Tom. I really say something up front about Howard, and then I have to. They're looking like, is he really this stupid? But I am, and that's my truth.
Very hard to tell with you sometimes.
Sometimes
are you as fucked in the head as you appear to be, or are you doing a funny comedy bit?
Is it a funny comedy bit? And that is sometimes really hard to tell. Where can people find your wonderful podcast, Tom? And are you going on tour? Is there a planned tour for you at the moment, or is the comedy special as good as people can get to seeing you live at the moment?
That's it. I've peaked right there.
It's a great show. It is such a funny show.
Oh, thank you, mate.
It's really good.
You'll enjoy it. I don't know if you saw it on Paramount Plus and stuff. When they first posted the special, there's a description. We submitted a description weeks and weeks ago as to how to describe the show.
Homosexual comedian Tom Ballard destroys heckler. That's what I know you wanted. You wanted
to get some views on YouTube. There we go. No, I don't know. It got lost in the mail or whatever, and they just all they had in the description was Tom Ballard performs comedy stand-up. Not stand-up comedy. No. Tom Ballard performs comedy stand-up.
And also not in front of a live audience. It's just, he just performed it.
Nothing about the subjects. And then we said, hey, Paramount Plus, can you fix this? And they genuinely said, oh, sorry, we can't do that here in Australia. Our US office has to change that.
Has to edit and change description.
we don't. They don't trust us with that down here in Down Under. We just simply can't be trusted with such things.
Do we have a Paramount? Like, is there an office in Australia?
Yeah. It's all part of Viacom, which owns CBS, which now owns Channel 10. That's all
Right.
part of
And you love big corporations.
I love them. Currently working on an Amazon Prime program. I love billionaires.
Yeah.
And inequality is fine.
You're a lover of all, and that's why you're so good at giving out advice to online confessions. And say, a stupid guy could not come up with a wonderful segue like I just performed for you today and the listeners. My mum. Well, confession 1 comes from Glenn. Glenn confesses, brushing my ass with my housemate's toothbrush. No hello, which they usually do. They usually lead in with a hello or something, but this is just straight in. It's just balls to the wall. We're having a good time.
Is that the title of it, or that's just literally the first line?
That's literally the first line. No capitals at the start of the sentence to show that it is the start of the sentence. It's just straight in there.
Brushing my ass. Brushing my ass. Toothbrush.
Yeah. Okay. You think that'd be the entire confession?
Sure.
But there's a bit more, to be completely honest with you.
Thank you.
I will tell you, Tom, there's absolutely not, but we will read on.
All right.
You got to make up an hour. You got to have content, Tom. I'm all about content. You probably think I'm the kind of guy who wouldn't care about what I've done, throwing it to the wind and saying nothing else really matters.
What?
So he's assuming that we know or care much about him. So says, you probably think I'm the kind of guy who wouldn't care about what I've done, throwing it to the wind and saying nothing else matters.
I mean, I guess based on the fact that the first sentence of this tells us exactly what this fucking confession's about, which is him brushing his ass with his housemate's toothbrush.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you are a pretty carefree dude.
Yeah. Pretty cool dude, if you don't mind me saying. We've all been there. That's the thing.
Zero fucks.
I give zero fucks. Cool beans, as a lot of people used to say 10 years ago. Well, you'd be dead wrong, he says.
Dead wrong.
I do care. I care a lot more than you'd think. So from what we thought.
Don't know who you are.
You want to get to know him though, Tom, so far?
Well, sure, but don't make presumptions about my presumptions about you, motherfucker.
Yeah. Motherfucker. I want you to end every sentence with that from now on, by the way.
Motherfucker.
Motherfucker. My housemate Joe was just a terrible person, truth be told. A terrible person with the kind of BO that could kill an entire army. Now, I don't know if bad BO makes you a terrible person. I don't know if those two are interlinked. Like, really? Are they? Like, is that what makes you a bad person? Or just if you are a bad person, you sweat more and produce a lot of horrible gases?
I guess if you have the BO and you're aware of the problem or you don't do anything about it, maybe.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Bad person.
If you're actively letting that go to other people, the waft. Yeah. He's a gamer. That pretty much says it all.
We know.
Yeah, we know he's a gamer.
When you said BO, we put the things together. It's all fine.
And he has a gay friend who is very annoying.
Hey, wait a minute.
It's my confession.
Homosexual comedian Tom Ballard.
It's not. It's absolutely not. I promise it's a different gay one. He has broken most of the things in the house and not replaced them. He doesn't flush his massive logs he leaves in the toilet. And he listens to music so loudly at all times of the night, despite me asking him to stop and getting several complaints from the neighbours. So they're the big ones. So which out of those, Tom, would you consider the worst of all? Bad BO, leaving massive logs, breaking things in the house, or music so loud the neighbours have complained? Well, what's more annoying to you?
Also BO and having a friend who's a homosexual is annoying.
Oh, sorry, the gay, but
befriending members of the LGBTQI community is obviously the most horrific thing you can do.
Awful. You should never.
I wonder what percentage of homophobia out there is based on people who genuinely wouldn't have a problem with anyone's sexuality, but if a gay person they know is then also annoying, it's just oh, fucking bags.
Oh, and they've only met one annoying person that just happens to be homosexual, and then they go, I hate all.
Or they might have they might know plenty of gay people, and they're fine with most of them. But one of them's just super annoying, and they're just oh, that gay guy is really annoying.
They've met performer Scott Brennan, and they go, all gay people suck. Good friend of the show, performer Scott Brennan, of course.
We love Scott Brennan.
We love Scott Brennan. But yeah, so you think You think maybe that's, well, I mean, the homophobia is rife, and
Homophobia is there.
the
But
worst
also,
thing.
shout out to the gamer with bad BO who has a gay friend. You know, rock and roll.
Yeah.
It's
A real
2022.
desperate homosexual friend that wants to be friends with the gamer with that.
Yeah, shame on the gay guy
Shame.
who hasn't queer eye for a straight guy, his gamer friend, and transformed his life through a magical TV moment.
I thought of a sketch the other day of the queer eye guys rocking up to a house, and the person really didn't want them there and didn't think they had anything wrong with their fashion.
Yep.
Do you think it's got legs or not really? And that's the whole thing. Yeah.
Have you written that?
I mean, in fact, I would say there's a lot
really
less.
Good. I think that's good to go. I think just start filming and then see what happens.
Yeah, great. Would you want to, so the Queer Eye cast, if, you know, the Australian Queer Eye cast, who would you want involved? Imagine, because you, I reckon you would be Culture. I reckon Culture, if you want to be. Yep. Unless you're good with your hands. Pardon, Vicar. I mean, good, good with woodwork or anything. I don't know your skills.
Absolutely not.
Your craft person.
I thought you were going to suggest that I was the one being made over, which is probably...
No, I would never. You look fantastic all the time. You know that.
I mean, you've got your Ballard, your Creasy, your Nicholson, your Valvo.
Yep. Fabulous Adam Richard, former Scott Brennan.
Fabulous Adam Richard.
Yep.
Scott Brennan. Okay, so let's just have all the gamers.
They don't have to be comedians.
Anthony Collier is in there. And
we'll
I guess we have to have what's his face, Anthony's husband.
Tim
Campbell as
Tim
well.
Campbell,
That'd be awkward. You got to have both of them in there.
Yeah.
He's in there.
And then just Grant Denyer for no reason.
Grant Denyer's in there. Troy Sivan.
Yeah. If we can get Troy, let's have Troy.
And that's just a 12. You just get the 12 in, and then they take care of everything.
Yeah. Okay. That's
People
fun.
would watch that.
People would watch that, absolutely. And just people that don't want it. People are just like, I don't want this. This is really stressful. You know, like, I just think it's fun.
Making up fundamentalist Christians, right? People from the Australian Christian lobby, we all 12 gay men rock up at their house and tell them what's wrong with their life.
That is fun, because I've always got the catfish crew down at my doorstep, always knocking, wanting me to come out. No, sir. Okay, so it says he's a joke. All right, so the housemate is a joke. He's a joke who I do not trust and never will. Sure. He also one time killed my plants when I was away and asked him to look after them. When I had my parents' dog, my childhood dog, staying with us, he let it out and it ran away.
The only course of action I can see you to take his toothbrush and shove it right up your jacksie.
An old woman by the name of Sue, who lives in a castle down the road, brought him to us. The dog. I think that means the dog. Yeah.
Okay. Side detail. Come on.
Yeah. Lives in a castle. Probably gave it a better life, to be fair. Haha. She lives in a castle, Tom. Do I have to say this again? Okay,
this
whatever.
This is all
right.
incidental to the confession.
This is the point of the podcast where I go, the guest who gave up their time to be on really isn't enjoying it. So
I'm wasting my time to get back to the toothbrush up the arse.
So this is my story, and I know I should be ashamed of the fact that I let it all get to me, and have been getting back at him by brushing my ass with his toothbrush. Not that he uses it, and putting it back in there for him to use. I've been doing it for weeks. Weeks. Oh. But the guilt starts to come at you like a freight train. And then you're sitting there thinking, well, maybe I'm not the best person there is. There is ever, I think.
Maybe I'm not Jesus. Yeah, maybe.
I
have some growth to pursue.
I'm gonna work on myself. Yeah, I've got to work on myself as a person.
Is he thinking that as he's scrubbing his ass, like as he's just like slamming the toothbrush in there, he's thinking, maybe this is not what I'm supposed to be doing with my life as an adult.
Paying off a hex degree, shoving a toothbrush
over
his ass.
Am I not just as bad as the stinky, weird gamer if I shove a toothbrush up my own jacksie?
Up my own jacksie? Maybe I've got some problems too.
Maybe.
I think I should tell him because I move out next week. All right, Tom. So this is a big thing. So he's moving out. So he's already, that was the issue. It's like He's already moving out. There was no real reason to be shoving a toothbrush up your asshole, unless it's for pleasure, of course. Of course. We're not saying go for it if you want. But, what do you think he should be doing in a situation like this? Would you be telling your soon-to-be ex-housemate this information?
I would not.
Okay. Yeah.
In that, as long as I do not plan to do it ever again, I mean, what good can be achieved? One cannot turn back time. I would draw a line under this horrible episode of your life and just focus on moving out and just maybe seek some professional help and sort of talk through the way that you react to certain circumstances and your problem-solving skills.
And thank you for not saying terrible episode of this podcast. You would just say to just take it back a step and maybe, because nothing good can come of you telling them is the thing. Like you saying, I shoved your toothbrush up my asshole. That's not ever going to end well for anyone, is it? Like there's never, you can't really come back from that.
No, I don't think so. And there may be some legal ramifications from that. I don't know, particularly if he gets cholera or whatever the fuck. Or,
probably cholera.
What can you get from eating Shigella? I got Shigella once, which is a
what's Shigella?
Bacteria thing. It's like I guess it's an STI. Yes, and it's
basically
something that you get that often transfer from the anus onto the old lips. So
to those sweet lips. So you're saying
I confess that on this show?
Yeah.
Why did I do that?
You're saying don't go ahead.
The guy I got it from was one of the most attractive men in the world, I would argue.
Performer Scott Brennan.
That's the one.
That's the one. Well, that actually makes it worthwhile. If he was the most attractive man in the world, then it's all worthwhile.
I felt that. Yeah, I felt that.
I felt that. I feel it too.
Symptoms of Shigella, which people could look up. I was thinking, this is
I'll put it in the show notes. Patreon only exclusive, because I know you love the Patreon, Tom. We can do it on the Patreon. Yeah.
Hello, Patreon.
We've got confession 2 that comes from Juliet. Juliet writes.
What was the first guy's name, by the way?
The first person's name was Glenn.
Glenn. Cool.
Glenn. Peace to you, Glenn. Hope you find what you're looking for, Glenn. 2 from Juliet. Juliet types, a woman, not too tall, but tall enough, stands with her wits about her. She knows exactly.
Hey, are we in a novel now?
She's writing it like it's a novel. She's painting in third person. Okay. Yep.
All right. Well,
stands. Well, I appreciate effort, to be honest. Nearly 4 years into doing this, the effort is incredible.
And the woman is tall.
Not too tall.
Too tall, but tall enough.
And stands with her wits about her, Tom. I don't know if you remember that. She knows exactly what she's doing, and she's doing it well.
Great.
Dressed in a small set of matching lingerie, she knows what she's about to do is wrong, but she can't help the fact she's doing it. Now, where do you think a confession like this is going, homosexual Tom Ballard? Where do you think a confession like this could be going at this point?
God, I'm intrigued, and it's such an honor and a refreshing taste to see some actual writing skills. Compare this, shall we, to Glenn's approach, in which he blew his entire load in the first sentence, gave himself nowhere really to go. We all knew what was coming.
Yep. Maybe incriminated us as he was going and led with no capital, with punctuation. There was no capital letters at all.
No. Whereas what's this lady's name again? Sorry?
Juliet.
Juliet. She's telling a story. She's inviting us into her world. She's painting a picture. I like that. So she's doing something she knows it's wrong. Where is she? Sorry, in a bedroom?
She's in a hotel room.
Hotel room. Okay.
A hotel room, a bottle of open wine. She writes wine, but at wine. And the best sex imaginable.
She shoved a toothbrush up her ass.
She did, absolutely. Trying to explore her own body. Nothing wrong with that. That's the real reason she's here. This woman. Now, who do you think this woman is at the moment?
Okay, not great writing, I must say. Very rarely in a novel, I would say that is the reason why she's here.
Who do you think this woman is at the moment?
I guess she is Juliet. I guess Juliet is writing about herself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but she's drawing you in, which is quite nice. It's something that these people don't often do. This woman is staring back at me in the mirror.
Oh, okay. Oh,
and and I hardly recognize her anymore. If it was someone staring at you through glass, you would know that's a problem.
Yeah.
It's the first time she's stopped to think of what she was doing, and what she might be doing is wrong. That woman, the one I've been talking about for so long, is me.
I love that. That is a sign of someone who doesn't write very much. I'm getting this. I'm trying to write this fucking book.
Yeah.
And I will write for hours. And I think, gosh, I've written so much. And it's like a page and a half or whatever. It's like in Futurama when Fry writes that episode of Single Female Lawyer. And it finishes early. And he says, it took me an hour to write. I guess it'd take an hour to read. I've been talking about her for ages. It's me. Of course it is, Juliet, you stupid bitch.
You wrote a paragraph. Do you think, pat yourself on the back, a paragraph is huge. Are you getting writing tips from this to work on your own book at the moment?
Stuff. This is really good.
Maybe you could start
yourself in the third person, I guess. Yeah.
Are you thinking that's maybe a way you could go, like an avenue you could go with your book, is you could start it by describing yourself, and then, by paragraph 3, it's you looking in a mirror.
It turns out it's me. That's the real reason that I'm there. It's because of sex.
Me.
Me. Tall man.
Tall blonde man.
Not too tall. What does tall enough mean?
I don't know what either. Maybe to ride something. I don't know, Well, a man in the hotel room. And that's all been part of what I've been writing. I'm that woman in the mirror, and I'm here to tell you that no matter how sexy you feel in the moment, it will never make you completely better. It won't make you feel whole. And that, for all the readers thinking sex in a hotel room is worth any drama it may cause, in my confession and one of the more unruly stories I've ever told, I can tell you it's not.
Is this someone whose English is a second language, or someone who's just not great at writing?
It's written by a robot, I think. It's just an auto-generated. It's someone that got through the I'm not a robot thing. They've gotten so smart now. I'm not proud of the fact that this is me. I'm not proud of the fact that I'm like this. I just am. And I'm looking for a way out. The man in question is not my...
Okay, sorry.
The man in question is not my husband, though he should be.
I think that's fine. That's a get out of jail. If you have an affair, you're like, oh no, we should be together, then it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Okay, you can get away with it.
Well, that's fair. I didn't realize there'd been a mix-up at the registration office. But if he should be your husband, then suck his dick. Go on.
We've been having sex for 2 years, meeting secretly when someone is out of town. His wife or my beloved husband, and we have had sex all night long. My husband has often commented on why I'm so tired a night after spending away, the thought that I look like a tired witch. We laugh and laugh about it. So he's just going, you look like a bit of a tired witch, and they're just laughing. I think that's one of the best things. It's very good though. I know you work so hard on your comedy, Tom, and you really write, you think of a whole structure for your show, but that comedy's comedy, and that's fucking funny.
Why is she cheating on this guy? They sound like they have a great marriage where they have lots of laughs together, and they
being called a witch.
Common observations.
A witchy cackle.
Like a tired old crone, you stupid bitch.
They laugh.
I hope you're not fucking somebody else.
We laugh and laugh about it. But the truth is, I've been up all night, thrusting away back and forth.
Yes, we know.
Well, the next sentence, Tom, I know you thought that was a lot, but throbbing like it's already next week and I'm being called away. That's one of my favorite sentences. I don't understand it. I don't know if she thinks that's a saying. Throbbing like it's already next week.
And this is when he's calling her a witch, a tired witch?
It's very hard to know the timeline here because of the third person narrative that we had at the start.
Read the past two sentences again.
Okay. Thrusting away back and forth, throbbing like it's already next week and I've been called away.
Throbbing like it's already next week.
Can you start to say that to people? Go, how are you? Throbbing like it's already next week. Does that mean it's been a busy week? It's really hard to tell. And now I look in the mirror and I don't recognize me. So we're back to the mirror. My husband has just sent me a picture of him hard at home wondering where I am.
Oh, God.
That's quite nice. Our sex life had been slow. We've been married for 20 years and I was looking for adventure, but we're finding it again. The visits to the hotel have become less frequent, but they do happen still. Soon, there'll be a knock at the door. A key card will be inserted into the slot and he will enter. Pardon, Vicar?
Well, no, there's no innuendo. There's no fucking
No
Alan
time
Bennett
for that.
insinuation when you've already said throbbing and thrusting.
Yeah, there's no time for that. She can't be all coy now. My husband's brother. A secret affair that no one should ever find out about.
Wait, what?
It's her husband's brother.
Okay, right. Yep.
Now, she did that very quickly in 3 words, but she's gone about the mirror and the third person. There's a lot of
And
detail.
what was all the shit with the key card? I don't
Oh,
give a
the
fuck about
split-
that. You're fucking your husband's brother? Yeah, fucking your brother-in-law? And we're talking key cards?
And we're talking throbbing until next week. I want to know about this week. What's happening this week? How much are you throbbing this week? My husband's brother. A secret affair that no one should ever find out about. But I do think I should tell my husband that I've been unfaithful, even if I do not describe exactly who to, how it felt, how long for, and that he's done things to me my husband never has or didn't have time for. All right, so that's the next confession that comes from beautiful Juliet. Now, you can come clean and you can say, look, to the husband and everything, you can kind of say, look, this is exactly what happened. I've been bonking your bro. You know, you can say that, but you don't need to maybe describe everything that happened and how good it felt. And that he's done things. Yeah, he's done things to you that you've never experienced before.
Sure. That's not going to help your case.
It's not going to help.
It's not going to help him.
Yeah.
To just say he made me gush and I was...
Until next week.
Never come that hard in my entire life. And
Yeah.
I'm referring to your brother who I've been fucking for 2 years. By the way.
End
Please
of
put your
story.
erection away. I know you sent me a photo of your heart on. I'm trying to express to you how much better sex with your brother is than it is with you, my husband.
My husband. And did she say this while she's standing in a mirror with him?
Yes.
Because that's quite poetic, I think.
It might be less confrontational if you both look at your own reflections.
Do you
And
think
you'll be like,
there's-
geez, you're tall, but tall enough.
Do you think tall enough? Do you think she needs to come clean to something like this? Do you think this needs to be rectified?
Well, again, I default to my position that yes, adults in relationships, particularly marriages, should be honest with each other. Probably shouldn't cheat on one another. And if they do find themselves in that position, be honest and sort of confront that head on, own up to your mistakes, take responsibility for your actions.
Well, what does comedy
very rarely
Tom
do people
say?
seem to take this advice, and this podcast has no impact because these confessions keep coming through.
Thank you for saying this podcast has no impact. I really do appreciate that. It's a
No
good
impact
review.
whatsoever.
Can I put that on a poster?
0 impact. Net zero by 2050. The Confessions of the Idiots podcast. I mean, yeah, she should stop having the affair. I think if she confesses to the affair, she has to say who it's with, because you can't be like,
Okay.
I had an affair with a guy. Like,
With
who the fuck
nondescript
is it?
male.
Oh, I'm not going to tell you. And then, like at Christmas,
I'm
there's some weird
shy.
sexual energy between
Right.
you and
Yeah.
all the tease. No,
Yeah.
your husband will say, who the fuck have you been fucking for 2 years? Is it my brother? Because every time at Christmas, you sort of like flirt with her when you get a little bit drunk. You're not fucking my brother.
Yeah,
are you?
yeah, yeah,
Does he
yeah,
make
yeah.
you come? Does my brother make you come?
Great question to shout at a family dinner, of course.
I think that's how it would go.
Yeah. And you need to tell them. You do need to tell them. That's the only way forward. That's what I'm saying.
It's not a very funny answer.
Doesn't need to be.
But it is.
We had a giggle in there, Tom. We pretended to giggle like her. I think that's funny enough. I think that's enough comedy for this week. Does this sound so? I imagine you've got some impressions up your sleeve. Can I just run one by you? See who this is, right? If I just, all right. Elmo, absolutely. Who's this? Hugh Grant. So you think the Elmo one's better?
Yeah, always better.
Next confession.
I'm on a real Hugh Grant kick. I just watched
A
Very English Scandal. So good. And have you seen The Gentleman? That Guy Ritchie film?
Yeah. Very
Hugh
good.
Grant is having such a fun time in that film.
Yeah, he's really
loving it. Really lead into it. He's little gay, cheeky Cockney.
He's really changed. He's really having the time of his life now. I think he's given up on the Hugh Grant we knew and loved. Looking in the mirror, wondering who he was. We've got the next confession that comes from Nelly. Nelly writes, I'm obsessed. Yeah, that's right. I'm obsessed with something, and that is stealing from my friends. I know it's a bad thing to do, to form a habit of doing things like these things. Too much carbohydrates, too much chocolate, too much of a bad thing is never good. I agree with that. Too many carbohydrates. Yep.
Sure, yes, but I'd also argue that stealing from your friends at all is bad. But
okay, Mr. Nazi. All right, Mr. Moral Compass. These things are all bad for you.
Murder's fine, but just don't do too much of it.
Yeah, that's right. Put a limit on everything. It's all about moderation. And I can't stop taking things from people's houses. People I love and adore too. I've always had things thrown at me. Not literally. I think that's fun, but I don't think she meant it to be fun. But I have I think it's the way I read it, my own creative license. But I have always had.
Again, if you were writing something and you read it back, and presumably none of these people read it back, but if you read something back and you sort of said, "Oh, it gives the impression that I mean this literally," you would just find a new way to express it. You wouldn't then just write, not read what you've just read, not literally. That's bad writing, I guess.
But I have always had things handed to me. I've been extremely lucky in that regard, but a lot of people still think I've never really worked hard for what I have. My parents are very rich and I was privately educated. And to tell you the truth, I maybe haven't had to work as hard as my friends. I know it pains you to read
well
that.
Done. That's very good. There's some self-awareness from the
a tiny bit.
Class. Thank you. Jesus Christ.
I know it pains you to read that I started stealing from my friends, but item after item, I would just put in my handbag. Small things, tiny things to begin with, and then it would escalate to something I no longer recognized, something I don't know if you can understand. That's a bit, calling us idiots, Tom. We just had a great political conversation about the Howard government just before.
We can understand that you're rich and you still feel like you deserve more. And so this is a beautiful metaphor for capitalism.
That's right.
Just never enough, just stealing.
Yeah.
I haven't worked very hard, but
nothing will ever be enough.
Nothing will ever be enough.
It got out of control and I was soon stealing heirlooms, priceless things that, while looked tacky, that I had no idea were priceless. I love throwing shade at these heirlooms. That was my greatest downfall. When things went missing.
This little statue looks like a piece of shit. You don't want this, do you?
That's all good. And I know a lot of people started to be suspicious too, because I started to get uninvited to a lot of things. It's a good way to know that people are being a little bit suspicious of you just grabbing shit. Oh, well, I thought I'll just do it with the kind of friends who just keep inviting me. But recently, I took my friend's grandmother's wedding ring and everything has turned very nasty in the friendship group. She wants to find it.
Who could have known?
But
who could have predicted such a turn of events?
But I don't know what to do. Oh no, think I finally cooked this one. Can I come clean and say it was me? All right, Tom, what do you do if you're beautiful Nelly? Gorgeous Nelly.
Oh, just little Nelly.
Gorgeous little Nelly.
I release a rap album. Check.
Always first.
Make a lot of money from that. buy a new replacement ring. Problem solved.
Wow, that's what you do to get the bling.
That's what. So sorry, can she not find it, or she knows where the grandma's ring is?
I don't think she knows it. I don't think she keeps them because she's got so much cash. I don't think she actually keeps them. I don't think she's pawning them off.
Quite seriously, again, Reed Down is late and isn't able to be here to say this, but
she's very late at this point. Ree is very late. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
That's what Ree would want. That's what I want. I think the fewer privately school educated children of the ruling class out there, the better society is. You're just stealing from people. Maybe she's just stealing from other rich people, though. I assume most of her friends are also rich.
Very rich, I imagine.
Don't care that too much either.
Okay, that's interesting.
Fuck the grandma. Yeah, I said it. I don't care about her wedding.
Eat the rich. Is that what you're saying? Eat the rich.
Yeah, eat the rich. Tie out their ankles.
Yep.
And just like pull their legs up above their heads, and then jingle their pockets, and so all their little trinkets and cash falls out, and then the working class whose labor makes society function basically, and deserve nice things. They can just take it part of all those spoils and watch Nelly look on, and
hopefully live a better life.
Listen to her tears as she watches everything that she's. All her ill-gotten gains falling through her tiny, little, smooth fingers because she's never worked a day in her fucking life.
I mean, back after Missy Higgins, that was too full on. I wanted to get us out there on a high, but yeah, no, that didn't happen. Jesus Christ, you always get political.
Sorry, Nelly. What do you think she should do?
No, I think the same. I don't think there's any way for Nelly. I think she's going to be a thief for life, and I think she has to wear that, and I think she has to tell her friends.
Is a thing, though, right? Isn't kleptomania like a real condition in which you don't steal for any kind of practical purpose, but you literally just get high on the thrill or whatever? Yeah.
And people just do it, and it doesn't matter about money. It doesn't matter about anything. People just take what they want. They can get their grubby little mitts on them. Not like you and I. All we want to get our grubby mitts on is friendship. And the next confession that comes from Donald. Was that a good segue?
Read the confession.
Quite all right, mate. Jesus, you've never wanted this to be over fast enough. The next confession, the final confession, you'll be happy about that, and then we'll do a Patreon episode after this. Yeah.
No.
Oh no! Don't. The final confession comes from Donald. Donald confesses, "This is embarrassing. I'm on a first date with this girl Sophie from work. It's going really well, and we're getting along. She'd just broken up with her boyfriend after a long time. Lucky boyfriend." Now, lucky boyfriend should have come before breaking up. Yeah. I didn't. That wasn't me improvising going lucky boyfriend.
Okay.
I think she should have said
that he got to be with her for a long time. I guess?
Got to be with her for a long time. I don't think it means lucky boyfriend to break up with Sophie because he's in love with Sophie. I was there to comfort her, but didn't want to be a horrible person to move in. The one morning over coffee, she suggested we go for a walk. I said yes, a little too loudly and a little too sudden. She had told me that she had always kind of thought I was cute, and I said the same thing back to her. I'm sure she would have loved to hear that. You're kind of cute. She is a lovely, and I never thought I'd get to.
Do you seriously not think that's a good move? She can't be like, I think you're kind of cute, and he'd be like, I think you're fucking beautiful, and I jack off to you.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
He's gonna play as casual as she does.
Yeah, I think you're cute too. Whatevs. You want another cough? Yeah. She is so. Do not talk to me before morning coffee. She is morning cough. She is so lovely, and I never thought I'd get to go on a date with Sophie. So you can imagine my excitement.
Sure.
As the date came closer, I was having a lot of stomach problems. I wasn't feeling great at all, but with the date looming, I thought I'd better do something, and I went to the doctor. All was fine. He would just help me with some constipation and told me to take some laxatives. Now, it's nice for a doctor to help you with constipation.
All was fine. That's so funny to then follow up all was fine with details of a bout of constipation.
He's got to have more fibre in his diet.
I was unable to shit for 3 weeks. But nah, it was all pretty cool though.
When they go to the park, they should just have bread for him, less bread for the ducks and more for him. No bother to me. I will get ready for the date and make sure I was extra prepared. Now, this is very clever, Tom. This is a very clever idea.
This guy is so chilled about
He's
having
so
constipation,
chill.
just generally, but then also having constipation on a date. Incredible.
I woke up early to get the worm. Oh, yeah. The early bird gets the worm, I think is what it means there. And made sure that I had flushed myself out before the date. Well, it did not work exactly like that, even though I was super proud of myself. And you got to be proud, Tom. When you flush yourself out, you got to be proud. I'm always saying that. We had a lovely stroll around the river.
What have you done today to make you feel proud?
we had a lovely stroll around the river, and I got to meet her boxer, who was lovely. I needed to toilet so bad.
The dog? Or
the dog was a boxer dog.
Oh, okay,
yeah. Yeah. But it made it a lovely boxing instructor. He always bring on the first date just in case things get out of hand. I needed to toilet so bad.
No.
That's
not what it
says. He does. And
Is that what it says?
Yeah. And I didn't know what to do. I decided that I let her dog off the leash, sprint after it, quickly dropped down behind a bush, did a poo, all while out of sight. Then I blamed it on her dog. I watched her pick it up after.
No.
Which is why I feel so bad about it. If she hadn't...
But hang on, it worked?
Well, I don't know. Human poo looks very different. If she hadn't done that...
Particularly from a constipated man.
If she hadn't done that, I wouldn't have said a word. We have a second date coming up, and I think it's time to tell.
No.
It's like reading The Notebook. Honestly, I'm a little bit teary.
I've never been more sure of anything else in my entire life.
Wow, this is huge.
Now, you know me. On previous episodes, I have been honesty is the best policy. Come on, we're going to make the world a better place. Take responsibility for your actions.
On previous Patreon episodes.
Yes. You know, be honest. Just let people know what you did. It's worse than the endless lies. In this case, do not tell this woman on the second date that she picked up your shit. I can't be any more clear than this. I've never been more sure of anything in my life.
You don't think you can come back?
Do not tell Sophie that she picked up your own constipated shit. Just move on. If you marry her, then never mention it.
Yeah. I don't think you can ever mention that, no matter how far down the track. I don't think you can say, when you got out the doggy bag and picked up my shit, I knew you were the one.
You were the one. Maybe at the wedding. Maybe tell the best man can do it at the wedding or something. But
yeah, that's true. It's a funny thing to bring up at a Bucks party with all the boys.
Yes.
I think so. But at the end of that, Tom, we've had 4 beautiful confessions from 4 beautiful people. We've had, and I think Ree should be joining us pretty soon. We've had we've had Donald, who went on the first date with Sophie from work. And of course, shit himself. You've got Nellie, who of course keeps stealing from friends. You've got Juliet, who was a beautiful woman standing in a mirror looking at herself and ended up bonking her husband's brother. And you've got Glenn, who brushes his ass with his housemate's toothbrush. Which one would you want to cast as a major motion picture? Because you've got connections now with Amazon. You got connections, you know, with Paramount. We can get this happening, is what I'm saying right now. Because, you're so close with them. They can't edit the description of your comedy special, but I think you've got some good connections here.
Yeah, guys, it's me, Tom Ballard, performs comedy stand-up.
Homosexual comedian.
Homosexual comedian, got a new pitch for you. The best movie potential in that one, I mean, Juliet was written like so cinematically, and I suppose, having Sleeping with the Husband's Brother is a classic. That could be a very Australian Scandal, sort of a spin-off of that series that we were discussing before.
Yeah.
But who am I kidding? I got to see Sophie pick up that shit. I've got to see it happen. And Sophie's like Zooey Deschanel.
Oh, wow.
And Donald is...
Donald Glover.
Like Jack Black or something? Or like
okay. Is it quite a quirky comedy then?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What do you want to call it? Would you want to call it Doggy Bag? Like, what do you want to call it?
Can I get a doggy bag? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Well, Homosexual comedian Tom Ballard. How do people find you? I know you're at Tom C. Ballard on the socialmedia.com, but how do people find you and everything that you do with your two goddamn podcasts and the book as well? Do you want to plug the book that you haven't written?
No, no.
Okay.
Let me write the book
Interesting.
first. Yes, at Tom C. Ballard, Serious Danger is the name of the podcast with Emerald Moon. Check that out. And if you go to Paramount Plus and you search for Tom Ballard enough, you'll find it. You've also got Nate Valvo on there, Geraldine Hickey, Pete Hellier, Celia Bacola, lots of very funny stand-up specials on there. And you can do a 7-day free trial, I think, with Paramount Plus. So you could just spend a week binging all your favorite Australian comedians and then say, fuck you, Viacom, and end your trial if you so wish. Or if you want to watch the Halo TV series, which I hear is awful, then you also definitely want Paramount Plus.
Is that based on the game, the Halo TV series?
I believe so, yes.
Oh, incredible stuff. Well, I can't wait to not watch that. But I do tell you to urge you to go and watch the Tom Ballard special because I saw the live recording of it. And it is a very, very, very funny show from one of the people at the top of their game in the stand-up world. It's been at the top of the game for a long time and the top of the homosexual community. Tom Ballard, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. Cannot wait to see Queer as Folk Australia with you and all of your wonderful friends.
Vote Greens, everyone. Vote for the Greens.
Take Howard down. Thank you, Tom Ballard, for joining me on the podcast.
Thanks, Sammy P.
Thank you so much for doing that, my friend. I'm sorry about our good friend Ree Down not